You know that meeting that Ignacio had with the guys yesterday? Is anyone here taking the Enem exam? The information is coming out now that those activists who were there and also some students absolutely despise Lula in every way. But they were forced to go there. They were forced, right? Lula did it on purpose. But now the information comes out. Lula sent transportation for many of them, you know, those democracy buses. City Councilwoman from São Bernardo, wonderfully, Nina Braga reveals it here. And there was even snacks from the government. So they could fill that audience because everyone thought it was strange, like what's going on, right? Lula didn't, he wasn't there. And now the press can't help but cover it up. PODA 360 put together a compilation of all the electoral polls. Bolsonaro is already, look, ahead of him, see? Miles and miles ahead. That's something we've always known, but now they're showing it. That's why he's desperate. He resumed attacking Trump since the Canada effect ended. Remember the Canada effect he was waiting for? Who's Canada? Canada, right? When Trump took office, there was controversy in the United States, him talking about Canada and all that, and the candidate over there. I don't believe that's what made things change in Canada. Especially since he was just yesterday, right? With that Trudeau over there, Fidel Castro's youngest son. Yeah, people joke about that a lot, right? And here in Brazil, there wasn't, it's just that it gives that feeling to those activists because Globo keeps hammering on it. So much so that it stopped now because nobody was into it anymore. Nobody believed it. Come on, if Lula beats everyone, there's no more candidate. The only candidate who beats Lula is Bolsonaro. The other two who also beat Lula. Bolsonaro with the surname Michele, Bolsonaro with the surname Eduardo. There are no other candidates. They can just take off and go to hell. So that's why all this is happening. We're going to show everything here. Now there's a video. Let's see what Trump will think. What Trump will think. Another declaration of war. Lula is sending the Movimento dos Trabalhadores Rurais Sem Terra. I'll talk about this again here. Sending them to Venezuela to fight the United States. And these guys are spreading a lot of lies about Trump. Hit the like button. The video is amazing. I'm sure you'll like it. Come be a part of our family. Hey, look, how do we catch a liar red-handed, right, my friends? Red-handed. Fake news is the practice, it's the habit of these wicked people. Count Dracula, right? That guy, Humberto Costa. Do you see this crowd here? This was back in 2017. These images are from a protest against Trump when he became president for the first time. This guy here, look, Humberto Costa, wrote, "Oh, Trump." Trump doesn't even know how to spell Donald Trump's name, right? Trump, things are looking bad for you. 3,000 cities in the United States, in several countries around the world, massive protests in Chicago against the Trump administration. But this image, which would also be normal, of course, the United States has millions of people. If it were a protest against Trump, that's normal since he was just elected. It's clear how many virtue signalers and woke people there are over there. It's unbelievable. The artists there are also totally against the right wing. Yeah, those guys meddled here, talked about the Amazon, remember? The characters from those Avengers movies and all that. Even Mark Hamill, the one who played Luke Skywalker. I was the biggest fan of the saga. I can't watch Star Wars anymore, guys. I can't watch Star Wars anymore. After the main actor of the movie, right? Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker. Started campaigning for a corrupt person who was convicted and imprisoned. Serious corruption claimed the forests here were burning more than ever. It's Luke Skywalker, very famous and all. It was one of my favorite movies. I used to watch it almost every week. I've watched every Star Wars movie around 2,000 times. I'm not exaggerating. When I like a movie, I watch it over and over. I watch it every day. We've already gotten used to that thing with Chavez, right? It was always the same episode. It's like that. This is a movie I really like. The Lord of the Rings is a movie I really like, right? The British conservative, no, I think she's Scottish, the one with the actress from Harry Potter, from the Gus. The actors aren't, but the person who wrote the book, right? J.K. Rowling, right? She's conservative and all. And there are many others, right? I usually really like to watch. Rambo, don't even get me started, right? Schwarzenegger's and Stallone's movies, especially my favorites like Rocky, Rambo, and others. The difference is that artists there don't have the Rouanet law, while here we rely on it a lot. That's a fact. But then the guy was caught lying. This manifesto here happened in 2017. 2017. And X mocked it. In other words, these guys are lying. Trump, who you know very well how he is, right? Super controversial. Those protests that happened, he released this video here, guys. Look at the video he released. Look, he released this video. He's flying a jet with a king's crown like this and dropping poop. Yeah, in the manifesto of all those activists from the group, yeah. Trump, yeah, man, he's awesome. My God, he's awesome. That's it. It turned into laughter. That's it, right? Now, seriously, now there's a video of this guy here. This isn't going to work. I don't know, but it'll be even harder for them to blame Eduardo Bolsonaro. Blaming Eduardo Bolsonaro will be harder for them. Look at what Lula's right-hand man did. This was ordered by Lula. I'm sure it was ordered by Lula. He wouldn't make a decision like this if Lula wasn't behind it.
To sign a commitment here in Caracas telling the gringos not to dare enter Venezuela, that all of us we will close ranks, we will stand with you. Count on the Brazilian people, on the people of Guatemala.
Look at that scoundrel. What a scoundrel. Count on the Brazilian people. And if a scoundrel is here saying that we as Brazilians are going to enter Venezuela to help Nicolas Maduro. Look at this nonsense, man. You must be kidding. Man, count on the Brazilian people. Look at that.
Count on the Brazilian people, together with the people of Guatemala, of Uruguay, the peoples of Latin America. We will be with you, fighting until the last sailor.
Fighting until the last sailor.
Go back to some grave in your poor country. Hail Hugo Chavez. Long live Venezuela. Long live the unity of the people.
Guys, this is almost criminal. He's calling people here as if he were an army commander, as if he were a navy commander, as if he were the general commander of the armed forces. Urging Brazilians to fight Trump in Venezuela. But does that make any sense? Not a single note on Globo. If they mention it, they'll say it was Bolsonaro's fault, because it's the same thing, Eduardo Bolsonaro. It's the same thing they do in the Instituto Nacional do Seguro Social Inquiry. Lula's brother isn't Lula's brother, he's Bolsonaro's brother. He's honest, Bolsonaro's brother. That ugly guy over there, that devil over there, became Bolsonaro's brother. Man, oh my God, look, it's outrageous. And the truth, you know very well, can never stay hidden. Councilwoman Nina Braga, sorry, I meant Nina Braga. That meeting where Lula, calling the people also against Trump, saying that no one will speak harshly here in Brazil, he's a poor guy. Calm down, Lula. Venezuela, Colombia, it's already set, Venezuela, Colombia, and soon you'll find yours. It seems like that chemistry there, which never existed, we always knew that. We've always said it here on the channel. Globo is now calling him a best friend and ally, saying he left the Bolsonaros for Lula, because the commercial side spoke louder.
offered snacks, materials, and free transportation to take our young people to a big indoctrination class. They offered snacks, materials, and free transportation to take our young people to a big indoctrination class. Here in São Bernardo do Campo, that's the truth. They brought in a stage entertainer. You can see that in the end she speaks. It ends with her talking like this in the video. Now I'm going to ask you all. In other words, that's what we fight against. Parents and young people from right-wing families in São Bernardo do Campo had to be present today because they didn't have any other option. Because they are young, and for them, the Enem is important. It's a matter of their future, a matter of education. But they go to a meeting to be indoctrinated. That's what we are fighting against. That's why I'm against it. That's why I was against it. And I am against this kind of meeting here in our city. Because we already know it's not an Enem prep class. It's an indoctrination meeting. That's unfortunately what they've been doing to our young people. I'm sure that 99% of these young people who shouted no amnesty here at our city's sports center today have no idea that there's a mother like Deborah Dubadam who is unjustly imprisoned with 2 small children at home. Parents of countless youth unjustly jailed for a crime they didn't commit, for a coup that never occurred. Like Clisson's daughters who are teenagers and preparing for the college entrance exam, and whose father died in prison because he wasn't allowed to go to the hospital. These young people don't know about this. Those who know had to attend today, hearing a stage host make young people shout, "No amnesty." That's why those granted amnesty who now shout, "No amnesty," deserve our full repudiation.
All our repudiation, because there are no free petistas. Great Councilwoman Nina Braga, there are no free petistas. Look at what this guy is saying here in this same meeting, that they paid for snacks and transportation. They want taxes. It's very important for you to share this video so people know the truth. Look at the clothes Lula is wearing, that fake little communist uniform, right? Like a mini dictator.
Things in all areas of our lives, in all areas of the state's actions, to provide home ownership, to make rich people who don't pay taxes start paying taxes.
And did you know, this guy is staying at one of the most luxurious hotels in Brazil and the most luxurious one in Brasilia. Since Lula took office, I've shown this several times. The hotel charges over 10 to 15,000 reais a night. He lives in the hotel, he gets a salary as a minister, but he can't just rent like everyone else with a job, right? I rent a property and all that. To live in the place where you work? No. You pay for a hotel and it's more than 5 stars. And he's talking here about taxing the rich, which will bring a ton of unemployment because obviously when the rich are taxed, they pass it on to us, the consumers. Those who can't handle it go bankrupt, causing unemployment, and then Instituto Brasileiro de Geografia e Estatística covers it up.
You know that in Brazil, the ones who definitely pay taxes are the working class. As you move up the social classes, you climb the ladder. There comes a point when the state can't reach you anymore, and you don't pay taxes. And this is where President Lula made his decision.
Guys, what makes us angry is that these hungry people only talk about this taxes, 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 taxes. They don't talk about Lula and Janja's billion trips. They don't talk about all those billions in funds from the Rouanet law. For what? Just so they can keep supporting themselves and stay in power. It's their own power project, their own power project. That guy over there is calling for war with the United States. That's a declaration of war. Claiming he'll send the Brazilian people against the United States, he's out of his mind. That's the only explanation. Let's be clear, the guy even brought transportation and snacks. For these dumb activists to sit there listening to that complete idiot. Share this video on WhatsApp, Telegram, Facebook, hit the like button. It really helps with sharing here on the platform. And come be part of our family by subscribing to the channel. All right? Big hug to everyone. Always stay with God. See you in the next video. Thanks. I'm out.